I think I just need to put this out there.
I'm Milton, and I have a lot to say, but I try to keep my outrageous opinions to myself where it's appropriate, but I've decided it's no longer appropriate. There is too much ridiculous stuff going on for me to continue to remain silent. And so here I am, end of a long day, frustrated, as I'm sure many of you are. And I'm going to light a joint and talk through some of the things that are on my mind, and we'll see where we are. That's an interesting thought. So I think that's a good place to dive in. I don't know why I'm making such a big deal out of the fact that I'm smoking a joint right here. This is not really a big deal. And the fact that we've been classifying cannabis differently than all sorts of other shit is bullshit. A little bit we're now starting to understand about the chemical structure is very similar to many of the other compounds we've been studying for a long time, and that we're intaking in various amounts on a consistent basis. The chemical structure is very similar. There are only a handful of elements that compose most of the things that we consume on any given day. And so the key is the structure and how this structure interacts with our system. We need to understand immediately, very, very consistently. And it's the basic understanding of how those compounds interact with our system is not understood, is not understood, is not understood, is not understood. The basic understanding of how these compounds interact with our system is not understood, and let alone how they interact with themselves. But shit, here we are. I can't believe I'm doing this on camera. Not gonna lie. I don't know how else to put that. This is still federally illegal. I'd be lying if I said I was comfortable with this. But it's bullshit that it's federally illegal. Why is what I'm doing right now illegal when I could go buy a pack of fucking tobacco down the street and it would be legal for that? But more importantly, it would be legal to research it. And one of the big differences that we have going on in our federal law around not just this, but many other compounds is the fact that we are not allowed to research them. We cannot understand what the chemical structure of this is relative to the chemical structure of some other bullshit that they decided was better. Fuck, here we are. Fuck, I told you, I didn't intend to go here, but here we are. Because it really goes deeper. I mean, the financial connection is well documented. I don't think I'm going to spend time on that right here, right now. There's all sorts of people that have researched and documented the financial benefits from prohibition over the last number of years. And the marijuana prohibition, and I change words intentionally because cannabis is a much more appropriate word, along with the chemical compound, which would be a better word. But multiple chemical compounds, we'll get there. Prohibition was predicated on a bunch of bullshit. And the worst thing for me in hindsight, as a student of history, I'm an amateur student of history, is that we started the cannabis prohibition after we ended alcohol prohibition. So through the entire time that we have stopped learning about this compound, we have been learning and frankly allowing profit from various sources over time. And this extends in multiple areas. Like I said, I'm not going to go into detail here, but I think that the key is the argument is largely understood on a broad scale. A majority of states have acted independently, and yet for some reason we haven't done anything at a broad level federally here in the U.S. This is bullshit. Like, all we need to do is fucking start researching it. I don't give a shit about any of the other shit. We should be delegating to states' rights, and we'll get into that too. But let's just let the scientists figure it out. I want to know what this chemical compound is and what all the other 150 some, from what I hear, I don't know. I don't know how many other compounds are in here, let alone how many other compounds are in here when I distill it into other various factors. And here in Colorado, we've done a great job starting to research that, along with a number of other states. Like I said, the fucking majority of states have legalized in various forms. And research is the key. I know, there's all sorts of propaganda, generations of propaganda. Here we are. Oh, there's Alma. Hi, Alma. I think we need to have this discussion. And, it's one of the things that I find interesting as we grind our wheels in Congress. We can't even spend an hour, a couple hours of debate just to free up research on various compounds. Like, let's just get this done. This is ridiculous. And because we don't have the data. Anytime I try to get into a legitimate discussion around compounds, I hit a wall because we don't have the data. And from what I can tell, the data exists. There are places where this research is happening, most of it outside the U.S. And so that arms race is ridiculous. We should just be allowing research of compounds. We need to understand what those differences do and how they interact with our bodies and how they can, what are the disadvantages? What are the advantages? And like I said, this research is happening, but I don't want it to be in a black box. I want it to be transparent. And, we need to understand some of these things. And one of the things that I've seen in some cannabinoid studies is they really are enhancing healthy cell regeneration. And if you don't like what I have to say, I want to hear your opinion. And so that's part of why I'm trying to express mine, is to spark that discussion. I recognize we're not going to agree on everything. That's valuable. We shouldn't agree on everything. We should be expressing our opinions as freely as possible, as often as possible, especially in this developing digital world. I think it's really important that we actually bridge the gap and not allow these silos of information to just fester. And we saw the implications of those silos last week at the Capitol.